Yeah, Erica, millions of dollars being announced today to go directly into combating gun violence and the gang activity in this city on the grassroots level. Mayor John Tory talking about how it's needed, but the community leaders have also said it's been needed for a very long time, and they hope that some of this funding is sustainable over the long term.
Ask those trying to keep youth off the streets and from getting into trouble about what's needed.
Have a youth space that they could drop into, having food to be able to eat, maybe a PlayStation, Xbox to be able to play on, ping pong table, after school programs like basketball, just something to keep them busy.
It may sound simple, but it's a first step that's fallen short. 490 shootings in Toronto in 2019 as a result. Now, an injection of $6 million into this year's city budget towards immediate grassroots solutions.
We must add significantly as a city to the amount specifically budgeted to keep neighborhoods safe and keep kids away in any way that we can from gangs and gun violence.
The anti-violence funding would go towards 10 to 15 new community violence prevention grants, 8 new youth hubs in library branches, another 6 new youth spaces in rec centers, in addition to other programs, totaling the $6 million pledged.
We make these investments and we want to see immediate change. We need to be thinking about these investments as, change that's going to happen over decades.
In the wake of 2005's Summer of the Gun and Jane Kreba's death on Yonge Street later that year, the Guns and Gangs Task Force was created, along with the Toronto Anti-Violence Intervention Strategy, or TAVIS. Since then, community-based prevention programs haven't been as high on the agenda as cracking down on the problem. Now, Tory says the intent is to provide upfront funding and follow up, even if it's taken some time to get here.
What we did is stepped up the pace of that investment because we had the funds available to do it and because the problem required even more urgent action than we'd already been taking.
Now a matter of finding solutions by filling the gaps, literally.
The after-school gap is immense. Like the hours between, let's say, roughly 4 p.m. up until 9 p.m. is where youth will find themselves usually getting in trouble, trying to find something to do. And if there's a lack of resources, then usually they're vulnerable to, a lot of these issues.
Regent Park is one of the neighborhoods that is going to benefit from this new money if it passes through the budget. They've got a new social development plan that they want to implement. It's going to cost $635,000. Mayor John Tory also today emphasizing that the police budget has been increased as well to well over $1 billion.